Hey, what's up guys? It's Brendan from Best Life Weight Loss. And today's bike vlog, I want to talk about whether you should be eating or fasting before you work out or before you exercise. And you know, not necessarily fasting, but like if you sleep, wake up, I consider sleeping, you're in a fasted state because you're not consuming. So that's the kind of idea behind that. And if you watch the short video, you'll know, the advice video, you'll know that I said that the easy answer is, you know, you eat beforehand, you have more energy to burn. And that is true, but that's not necessarily what I do. And it's really just come down to how I felt when I first started. So when I first started working out, you know, I did it in the morning. Morning always seemed easier, you know. After work, I didn't want to do anything after work. I just wanted to relax, you know. So that was always my thought process with that, you know. And it really came down to the diet that kind of determined what I did for it pertains to fasting before working out. So it came down to just how I like the really just the feeling, you know. When I would wake up, the idea of eating first is like, oh, I'm gonna be slower. I have to wait for the food to properly digest. You don't want to eat and then 10 minutes later you're working out, because you're gonna end up throwing up. You're gonna end up not feeling well. You didn't give your body the proper time to digest. So if you're gonna eat before your workout, you want to give yourself maybe 30 to 45 minutes to let your food digest. And if you're gonna eat before your workout, you should be consuming at least 8 to 16 ounces of water with your meal or after your meal, before your meal, because that water actually helps you feel fuller and you're gonna need it to burn off. Now, when I started my weight loss journey, I'd wake up and I would drink some water and I would just start, you know. And it was actually easier for me to do my workout without consuming any kind of food or anything. And I think that plays into part with this idea of the zone 2 cardio, where I'm not going ridiculous. You know, I feel like if I was running at full sprint for like 30 minutes and then I'm doing a full body workout, you know, you would need to consume food. If you're hitting the gym and you're bodybuilding, like hitting actual hard weights for 2 or 3 hours on end, I'd suggest you consume beforehand so you have the energy. And how I kind of got to that conclusion too is that once I started incorporating the weights and the push-ups into my exercise, that's when I would notice, oh man, I'm kind of hungry, you know. And even right now, as I get to the end of the bike, hour and 50 minutes in, finally starting to feel like, oh man, I'm kind of hungry. And an easy, not easy, but something I do to kind of quell that is I just sip on my water. I drink my water at these points, you know. And that helps me like understand, okay, I can keep going, whatever. But when I get to the weights, you know, it might be, you know, I did the cardio already for 2 hours. I get to the weights and I'm tired because of that. But when I'm doing the weights, that is when I can really feel that, man, my energy levels are lower because I didn't consume. You know, that is why, and that's why I kind of implement push-ups later on in the day when I've consumed food, so I can go a little bit harder on those push-ups. The push-ups I do right after my bike, they're faster push-ups. They're endurance-based push-ups. They're there to just get the blood flowing, get the motions going. The push-ups I do later on, before I go to work, after I eat and stuff, those push-ups, I call it low and slow. Whereas the push-ups I do after the bike, I might hit 40, 45, 50 sometimes, just doing them fast, pumping them out. The push-ups I do at night, where I'm doing low and slow, I'm probably doing like 30 to 35 push-ups, and it's because I'm holding them. When I go down, I'm holding it. I'm holding it for like fucking 2 seconds. I'm going back up, and by doing that, I feel like that's where the most soreness comes from. That's where the most muscle growth comes from. And it's very strenuous. And I feel like I can do more of that and hold it longer when I'm fed and neutronized. I don't know if that's a word, but it sounded cool. So there's that kind of aspect. So one thing, like, I don't know if it's a mind thing, but when I'm doing the weights after the bike and I'm kind of getting hungry, I'm tired, I'm drinking a lot more water. I'm sipping on that water a lot more to kind of quell that thought process, that hunger, that thirst. And it seems to work, but it might not work for everyone. So it's really going to come down to you kind of figuring it out. So depending on what you're doing, if you are starting your bike, you know, you have to understand, you have to gauge it for yourself, like, should I eat? Should I eat? Should I not eat? Now, there's one thing, if I don't sleep, so when I come home from work, I like to just go to sleep. There are certain days, particularly it's Thursday, I'll come home and I won't go to sleep, and I'll just hit the bike. When I don't have that sleep, it's like it's harder for me to work out hungry. So when I don't have that sleep, that's really my one time throughout the week. You know, I work out 6 days a week. There's that one day out the week where I don't sleep before the workout. What I'll do is maybe, an hour, maybe an hour and 30, I'll drink a protein shake. Just something pre-made, 0 to 1 sugar, maybe 160 calories. And I try and get something with at least 20 to 25 grams of protein in it. You know, there's 2 protein shakes I kind of switch between. There's the Genuine Zero Muscle Milk that I like. And then there's the Premier Protein. It's like 1 gram of sugar. The Premier Protein has 25 grams of protein. The Muscle Milk has 20. And they're both good. I kind of picked the Premier Protein one because it has like a caramel flavor that I just fucking love it. It tastes great. And if you know me and my infatuation with sweets and food, you know that I gotta have a protein shake that tastes good or I'm not putting it down, you know? So I'll consume that protein shake hour 30 before, and it'll help sustain me on the bike. But for the most part, 5 days out of the week where I'm working out, I hit the bike in a fasted state. You know, when my cutoff for eating is usually like 9 o'clock, you know, maybe even 10, where I'll stop, because I do the 1 meal a day with snacking of fruits and vegetables throughout the day. And I feel like having that fasted state beforehand helps me maintain my 1 meal. And so, you know, disclaimer, I have a graveyard shift right now. That's kind of my schedule right now. So when I leave for work at 11, I try and stay in a fasted state. No fruits, no vegetables, no meat, from like 9 till 11, 12 o'clock in the morning. Now you do the math, whatever that is. But there's sleep incorporated in there after work. So if you look at that, you'll see, like, with water though, you know, I'm doing this and there's just so much water consumption. And that's the only reason I feel like I'm able to go from my fastest state right into my 2 hours of cardio and then into my weights, is because of the water consumption. And it's something you have to figure out. I have a friend that they have to eat before their workout, even if it's something small, just so they don't get low stomach pains. And that works for them. It comes down to finding out what works for you. And I would say try both. I would say try it in a fasted state, or if just not consuming beforehand. Make sure you have plenty of water on hand. When I'm doing the cardio, I make sure I have at least half a gallon of water on me, if not more. And there's little aspects that you have to implement to maintain your goals. So eating before your workout or after your workout, there's the pros and cons. You know, if you do something really high intensity, I recommend eating beforehand. But if you're doing something zone 2, where you know you can stay at the fasted state while you're working out, you know, it's worked really well for me. Might work well for you. I hope you start your weight loss journey today and stay positive.